Before I get into this video, I just want to say I do not mean to disrespect anybody, like any of the Parkland victims. I do not want to disrespect them. In fact, I'm sorry for them. I really want to do something, but how a lot of this March for Our Lives thing, it's not really doing that. Now to get into what I'm talking about, it's basically, yeah, I just told you, the March for Our Lives, and it's really stupid. Not just of how the protest itself went off, but basically some of the leaders. If I were to be more specific, David Hogg, and that's why I said at the very beginning that I do not mean to disrespect any victim of gun violence. So I honestly do not like David Hogg because he is calling for a lot of this gun control legislation, like very, very strict, and he has this very narrow-minded view about how politics operates, and especially why Congress is not really doing anything in terms of stopping mass shootings across the United States. It's really naive about that. I do not mean to disrespect anybody. I really am sorry, and I really respect you guys for what happened. I am so sorry, but that will not stop me from spouting out my own opinion. I think this is I think what he is saying is completely insane, especially with this whole idea that the NRA is basically trying to stop politicians from actually doing anything. That is completely ridiculous. First off, when the NRA was founded in, I think it was 1871, which was during the Reconstruction era, it was a civil rights organization. It did not just focus on It did not just focus on keeping guns in the Second Amendment, but it also helped on arming blacks to defend themselves from people like the Ku Klux Klan. That's what they were trying to do, and no one had a problem with that at the time. Now, their more main focus, now that much of the Civil Rights Mission has been accomplished, that we should focus on gun safety and using them as a way to stop criminals, to stop a tyrannical government, and for other uses as well. That is what they are doing. I do not understand where he gets this idea that politicians are controlled by the NRA, which again is really weird, and I can take that into account because I actually worked with the NRA before. I'm not a full official member. I never paid for a membership with the NRA, but I kind of think that I should. Now, and the way during my time in the Civil Air Patrol, which, if you don't know, is the United States Air Force Auxiliary, I was a cadet staff sergeant. We were allowed to do encampments, like it was sort of like a boot camp of things. There was like search and rescue encampment, basic encampment, which you're required to have, and the one that is appropriate for this situation, basic rifle encampment. This encampment taught me everything about rifles. We usually had to use a .22 caliber bolt action rifle whenever we're on target, and we had to make sure that we were supervised, and every time it was a person from the National Rifles Association. Every time. In fact, they were strict, like your own parents kind of strict about this whole gun safety and stuff. So I do not understand why David Hogg would actually think this way. I understand that he's been through a lot, especially with the shooting, but still, this is just a very narrow-minded view. Again, this is not how politics works, and even if it did, there are a lot of things that could associate with the lack of Congress doing anything on gun control. For one, obviously the Second Amendment. Number two, political ideology. Number three, other motives. So other motives such as like, what do I gain from all of this? What do my constituents gain from all of this? That sort of thing is relevant in the minds of politicians. It's not a simple black and white thing when it comes to politics. We like to think so, and I have to admit, I like to think so too, but there are still a lot of other factors that play into these decisions. This is what scares me. Because David Hogg basically just loves the idea of getting rid of guns, to like abolish the NRA and the Second Amendment. Although he did say in an interview that he was for the Second Amendment, but I'm not convinced, especially after all this rhetoric. Now to get back on topic, it's I cannot understand much of this protest, because honestly, it feels as if it were more of a joke, and it feels more like a peer pressure kind of group. Here's the thing: these guys are part of my generation, Generation Z. And usually, Generation Z, the majority is pretty much conservative. These guys are the minority, the liberals, or at least according to research as of right now. So when they put something on for this, it kind of feels like peer pressure. I'm not even kidding. There are a lot of people in the high schools that are conservative. That people who are conservative are kind of pressured to maybe be a part of things like this. And it's like their situation. The situation. Damned if they do, damned if they don't. Damned if they do, because that would mean betraying their own political positions. Damned if they don't, because they would be like, oh, you support children getting killed and stuff. Which is bullshit, by the way. Complete bullshit. Whoever thinks that the NRA or people who believe in the Second Amendment don't care about children, in fact, that we love the idea of killing children, is completely ridiculous. Beyond any comprehension. To continue on with more of the March for Our Lives, again, the reason why it's so much more of a joke is because they use these stupid arguments, or well, in my case, it feels like stupid arguments, because they are basically using stuff like SpongeBob SquarePants and Hogwarts. If you don't believe me, just type it up on Google and look them under pictures. You can see a lot of them. It's ridiculous. In fact, a lot of them I'm sorry, I forgot the word. Contradict themselves. Thank you. That's actually what some of them do. On one hand, there is this one sign that says, the teachers at Hogwarts were armed, and yet still people were killed, despite the fact that it was obviously a fictional book and it's about two armies and yeah, that sort of thing, but I'm not going to get into Harry Potter. And then another one saying that this one happened at Hogwarts. I know, it's freaking ridiculous. I have no idea what's going on in people's heads. There were a few funny things. In fact, I'll probably link to Leftist Cuck's channel to show you the video, which is pretty funny, and it basically shows some of the same things that I've been talking about. But it just, how is this an effective argument? Using pop culture references. When another generation ago, or well, a few generations ago, we were protesting against the Vietnam War, we weren't using this popular culture. We were using actual images that have resulted from the war. There were actual people, veterans, who despised the war in Vietnam. There's a lot of footage, in fact, of veterans throwing their medals across the fence into the White House. There are a few of them on YouTube. I can't remember where they were, but I'm sure if you just type that in, it would show it to you. The point is, they did not make it look like a joke. They made it serious. Because it was serious. Because this was directly affecting everyone back at home. Now, say what you want about the Vietnam War and whether or not we won or lost in that war. That is up for debate. That's not what I'm talking about. I am talking about the fact that March for Our Lives, in contrast to the anti-war movement, is making itself more like a joke and a meme. A pathetic meme. That's the problem here. I'm pretty sure, though, that despite what they're doing, they are just going to fade out of existence. At least until the next stream comes along, and then something will happen. I just don't understand these guys. And again, I find it funny how this same protest group is suddenly funded by a lot of left-wing organizations and constantly supported by the media. And how they managed to get a lot of this stuff. In fact, I recall that there was a speech by David Hogg and a few others where they were allowed to stand on a podium and a stage, which I think it was in front of the White House. It was something that teenagers, 16-year-olds, or even me, a 21-year-old man, could afford. That is how suspicious this is. This movement is both suspicious and a joke. And if they ever think about taking away my Second Amendment rights, they can go kiss my ass. Because they are not going to take any guns away from me. In the words of that one flag from Texas, come and take it, bitch. My name is Noah Meehan from the Arc of Truth. Please post your comments down below, like this video, share with your friends, and subscribe to this channel. Thank you.